Hello, my name is Daryl, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday World Meditation. This meditation is a chance for each of us to come and do something together, to enter stillness together, and to send our intention and strength to Marshall and others together. It is about doing a simple shared action that is needed in the world. There is my bird clock telling me it's the hour. Let us first surround and protect ourselves with the love and the grace of God. Tonight, I would like to read a portion of Living the Way of Knowledge, Chapter 7, Your Relationship with Your Spiritual Family. And this is about the concept of the wilderness. There's always been something mysterious and scary and beautiful about wandering in the wilderness for me. Jesus had to do it for 40 days, and even Marshall, our messenger, had to do it. It appears that we must go through periods of wandering and confusion, in between periods, when we must let go of our present reality before we can enter a greater reality. I can remember various times when I felt lost and confused and uncertain about where I was in my studenthood. And all of a sudden, I would stop and breathe a sigh of relief. Ah, I am in the wilderness. And all of a sudden, I would have a realization that I could let go of my anxiety and recognize that this was just part of the mystery of the journey. It meant be alert, but not afraid, and take the next step. Keep moving. I know I'm not done with the wilderness experience. Each time I approach a new threshold experience, I know I will be spending time in the wilderness because I will be in new and unknown territory. And so here is the reading. To begin the second great stage of life, you begin to enter the mystery. And here you go beyond the well-worn paths that people travel, and you enter a kind of wilderness experience. A wilderness where there are trails, but you are not certain of the way. A wilderness where your parents and your siblings and your friends cannot go with you. A wilderness you must enter. Here, your outer life may look the same, but you are experiencing new dimensions of life, and they seem strange and wondrous and perhaps even frightening to you. You enter here because your mind is expanding and because the reference point within you is changing. No longer can you rely upon your beliefs and assumptions. And as a result, you realize how little you really know. No longer can you rely upon the beliefs and assumptions of others, for you realize that they may know less than you. Here you know enough to begin, but you do not assume you know any more. Here you know enough to continue onward without assuming the result of your efforts or journey. Here you seem to travel alone because so many whom you knew before were not able to go with you, and yet you feel a spiritual presence in your life. Here you go where life seems open and unshielded, where pain and happiness are sharper and much more clearly experienced. And yet before long you find others who are venturing into that wilderness as well, and they are as uncertain as you, though they may not admit it. Here you will find that those things that interested you before no longer hold appeal or attraction now. You seek quiet instead of stimulation. You seek honesty instead of charm. You seek affinity instead of attraction. You seek inspiration instead of entertainment. You seek meaning instead of escape. Something has changed within you. Somewhere mysteriously you crossed a line and everything began to change just enough that you feel you have a different orientation in your life. Here you begin to recognize that life is a mystery and that all the assumptions and all the beliefs that you had that seemed to explain and organize your experience so conveniently no longer hold true. Here there is wonderment. Here there is a great expectation. Here every day is something new rather than a dreadful repetition of the past. Be vulnerable in the wilderness. Be like the plants and the animals in the physical wilderness. They are vulnerable to life. They are open to life. Be vulnerable. Be alert. Be cautious, but not afraid. Be careful and move slowly. Observe others. Do not condemn anyone. Take time to make your decisions if you have time. Do not be in a hurry. Learn patiently, and your learning will be solid and reliable. Entering the wilderness means you are facing life without assumption or with fewer assumptions. The mystery of life has always been there. It has simply never been experienced for more than a moment here and there. Now you are living in it. Now you are feeling it. Now you are responding to it. It is exhilarating and frightening all at once. It is a precious time, but it is a risky time as well. You must have a very sincere heart to negotiate the beginning journeys into the wilderness successfully. Many people stop by the road and give up and claim they have arrived at the final juncture or made a great assumption about their abilities because they think they have come so far. But there is much further to go and there is much more to do. When others stop, keep going. You may welcome them to join you, but if they cannot, you have to go on. You do them and yourself a disservice if you give up your journey to try to initiate theirs. You will do more for them by continuing on. This beckons them and they will remember your demonstration. The wilderness is the place between thinking and knowledge. It is the area between life of assumption and life of experience. Here, everything you thought you knew becomes questioned. Here, your assumptions are recognized as assumptions rather than facts or realities. Here, you begin to experience new dimensions in life and your sensitivity develops. Here, you are able to hear thoughts and become exposed to the mental environment. Here, you taste life's reality much more clearly and much more sharply. Here, your ambitions are tempered. Here, your reproach becomes humble. Enter the mystery. Enter the wilderness. Leave the paved roads of life, which represent the popular ideas and conventional thinking that people rely upon and call reality. If you are not reckless and ambitious, you will find your way because you will be moving slowly and carefully. If you do not have great presumptions about yourself and your life, you will recognize your opportunities and the dangers along the way. If you become reliant upon knowledge in others and knowledge within yourself, you will have a sound foundation for real decision making, and your decisions will be lasting and effective. If you are willing to be without definition and without philosophy, without high ideals and without terrible fears, if you allow your mind to be suspended, your mind can then find its way back to knowledge. The mind will then come to realize that it must serve and that it can only serve and that you will want it to serve because you want to serve. You want to serve others and you want others to serve life with you. And you see there's no real sacrifice here. For all you have given up is ideas and assumptions. All you are really facing is uncertainty and mystery. Now you have a greater possibility to not only survive in the world, but to flourish here and to contribute your great gifts that you have brought with you over a long journey from your ancient home. Now your mind becomes sharper. Your perception becomes deeper. Now you have a deep and abiding patience within you. Now you can wait for certainty instead of assigning certainty. Now you wait for truth instead of declaring truth. Now you look for reality in another instead of being fooled by appearances. Only the wilderness can teach you this. Only the wilderness can initiate your relationship with knowledge in this life. Enter gratefully and respectfully. Keep your eyes open. Keep your mind as clear as you can. Keep your eyes focused on the present and on the future, for you cannot go back and there's nothing to go back to. Have faith that your friends and family will someday, perhaps in the distant future, understand what you are doing, and remember you can do nothing alone. Therefore, you do not walk the wilderness alone, but you must walk the wilderness to find out who is really with you. Please join me now in a 30-minute stillness practice. Take whatever time you need to read your own step and enter when you are ready. Nasi Navari Karam. While we are in this place of stillness, I'd like to share a passage from the Heart of God, or the Heart of God, which is part of the One God, on page 145. A messenger has been sent from the angelic assembly, from which all the messengers have come. So there can be no real contention between the world's religions, for those who came to bring them all came from the same source. Half holy, half human they are once they are in the world. They are not gods, for there is no God but God. But they are the most important people in the world for what they have come to give and the great change and benefit they can provide for this time and for the times to come. This is your challenge. You must have a change of heart to play your greater part in the world. You must receive revelation to understand your own religious pathway. Let God help you now. Let God support the world. God will not take over the world, but God will make you powerful enough and united enough to restore the world and create a future far better than the past, to preserve human freedom and sovereignty in the universe, and give humanity a permanent home here in the world, leading to greater accomplishment and fulfillment, and avoiding the perils of catastrophe. It is because of the heart of God that this is being given to you now, that we are speaking to you now, and that the messenger is here now. Understand this, and your life will come into focus, and your heart will grow, your strength will grow, and the love within you will be released out into the world. Let us spend a few moments together to be with Marshall and send him our love and strength. Now see if there are others in the world or in your life who need to receive this strength as well. If so, spend a moment sending strength or another quality to these individuals. Nasi Novari Karam, and thank you all for coming. And I send all of you blessings, my brothers and sisters in knowledge, as we enter the high holy days. May the peace and the power and presence permeate this season and remind us of our union in the source of all that is. We hope to see you next week.